You are watching me right now. Do you really know the reason why there's insecurity in Nigeria? Do you know the reason why there's bad leadership in Nigeria? Do you know the reason why there are a lot of corruption in African government? Wait, let me tell you. It seems like a lot of people in Nigeria and a lot of people in Africa doesn't really know what's going on in the Africa and in the Nigeria that they are living in. The reason why we are in this mess right now is because over 700 years ago, the Westerners stepped their foot into Africa, colonized Africa, destroyed African kingdoms. Even the kings that refused to be colonized, their head was chopped up and placed inside the European Museum and the British Museum up to this very day. And ever since then, they keep colonizing Nigeria and Africa till 1960, when they gave us the so-called independence, which is a pack of colonization colonization. It wasn't actually an independence. So what they do is that ever since they gave that so-called independence to Africa countries, ever since 1960s, the reason why they gave Africa independence is because so that they can change the format, so that they can change the system of which they were colonizing Africa. Because the former system that they were using ever since 700 years ago to 1960 was kind of like expiring and wasn't entertaining anymore. So they decided to bring the so-called independence to confuse we citizens of Africa and we citizens of Nigeria, to make us kind of like confuse us that we are free, not knowing that we are not free, which they forced the African leaders to sign the pact of continuation of colonization, which they call independence. So that's the reason why you see Africa and Nigeria is still like this today. We are still being ruled by bad government, because even any leader that choose not to be corrupt, these Western countries with their foreign power will come into the country, undermine the leader, talk bad things about the leader. In fact, he will use his people to revolt against the leader. If that doesn't work, they will just go ahead and assassinate the leader out of power. So that's how you get to see the problem that's going on in Nigeria and the problem that is going on in Africa. Because any leader who does good to his people here in Africa, any leader who does written to his people here in Africa, they will use the media to spoil the leader's name and turn the people against the leader and assassinate the leader. So any leader that does bad things to Africa and accept the foreign rule, their Western colonial rule, their Western colonial laws, the leader will be called a democratic leader. And any leader that goes against it will be called a dictator. You see, just like the case of Muammar Gaddafi and every other leader, Thomas Sankara, Tafawa Balewa of Nigeria, you see, they were all assassinated because why they stood for Nigeria. Even Sani Abacha, who was assassinated in the year 1960s, 1990s. So he was assassinated because he chose to defend Nigeria and choose not to be looted by these Western countries. It's time for us, we Africans, to stand up and stand up for what belongs to us. My big question is that how do we get these European shackles out of our neck? If you know how to do it, please leave your comment below. Let me know at your comment below, and please don't forget to subscribe or follow me for more to stay on the loop.